First section in chapter 2 of the book. It's on character strings. A string literal is represented by putting double quotes around the text. So, as the examples indicate, this is a string literal enclosed in double quotes, 123 Main Street enclosed in double quotes, or just even the single character X enclosed in double quotes represent a string. Now, all of these character strings in Java are objects, and they are defined by the string class, and we'll be looking at more instances of things to do with the string classes later in the course. Now, because they all defined by the string class, every string literal represents a string object. However, in Java, because strings are used frequently, they have some unusual characteristics that we can use it rather than creating objects all the time for strings, and we'll see that as we move forward. So, character strings are usually used for outputting information, be it to gather data from a user or to print messages out to show the state of a program or the results of calculations, etc. So in the Lincoln program from chapter 1, we actually invoked a method called println, to print the character string, whatever you are, be a good one. Now, the system.out object represented a destination, and in our case, this was the monitor or the screen, to which we can send the output. So we have an object, system.out, and we have a method name, println, and then we have the information provided to that method to actually print the string literal to the screen. So the other thing that we can have is a method called print. And this is what system.out provides. It's very similar to the println from the previous slide, except that it does one different thing. It doesn't advance the cursor to the next line after invoking the method. So anything printed after a print statement will appear on the same line, as opposed to anything printed after a println statement, it will appear on a new line. And countdown.java, available in the module 2 area on Flow, has examples of using both print and println. I suggest that you have a look at those and see how they work. Now, a lot of the time we want to join two strings together. So how do we do that? We use the plus operator. Okay, we are familiar with the plus operator. We use it in mathematics all the time. We add two numbers and we get a result. Now, when we add two strings together, we can't get an actual result because we're not doing a calculation. So the result is that we add the two strings together. So if we were to have the two strings here, peanut butter plus and jelly, at the end of that, if we were to print that out, we would have one string literal that said peanut butter and jelly. Now, having said that, we can also append a number to a string, and therefore it will act in exactly the same way as if we concatenated two strings together. We can't break these literals across lines. If we need to print two lines, we need to use two system.out.print or println commands to get it across the two lines. Facts.java has instances of both of these and shows you different ways to actually break strings or print two strings across a couple of different lines. Now, the plus operator is twofold. We can use it for arithmetic addition as well in the traditional sense, and therefore it has two possibilities. It could join two strings together, or it could perform an arithmetic addition. So which one it does depends on the type of information on which it's being used. So if both of the pieces of information or operands are strings, or if one is a string and one is a number, it actually performs string concatenation, not an arithmetic calculation. If both operands are numeric, it adds them together in a traditional mathematical sense. It is evaluated, however, from left to right, but we can use parentheses, we can use these to actually force what we want it to do. So in the addition.java program, you'll see several examples of strings and numbers and how things get added and how things get concatenated, and a very instructive piece of code there. So say I wanted to print a quote in my string in output, and we know now that the double quote character is used to delimit strings, one at the start and one at the end. So what happens if I want to have the word hello, like I said hello to you, in quotes in the middle of my output? If I was to put it, write my Java code exactly as it is here on the screen, system.out.println, I said hello to you with hello in quotes, the compiler is going to chuck a bit of a wobbly here, and because it's going to think this second quote here, just before hello, is matched with the first quote here, and that's where the string ends. And what's it going to do with the other two? It's got no command to actually do anything with these, so it's going to complain, and your program won't compile until you fix it. And you say, well, how am I going to fix this? Well, what we need to do is use what's called an escape sequence. And these are a series of characters that represent special characters. And these sequences always begin with the / character. Okay, so if I wanted to print the hello in quotes, I would have to use /quote around hello, and then the complete phrase delimited in my single quote. So this quote here before I and the one after you are paired, and these two are just ignored as quotes for delimiting strings, but they are used to delimit or to escape the hello character. So there are quite a few escape sequences in Java, and \b for backspace, \t for tab, /n for new line, etc., double quotes, single quotes, and if we wanted to use the \, we can use that. Okay. Okay, so if we have a look at roses are red or roses.java, you will have these sorts of